You're just waking up and joining us. Let's get you caught up on what happened overnight and what we're keeping an eye on this morning.
That's right. The North Carolina State Board of Education will hold an emergency meeting to discuss the coronavirus outbreak and its impact on schools across the state. That will be followed by the governor's daily update this afternoon. Here in the United States, more than 400 people have died. It's also left millions of people unemployed. The Senate is working on a $1 trillion stimulus package, but talks broke down overnight. Now, the two main sticking points in negotiations are how to best help struggling businesses and provide assistance to struggling families. The measure would provide direct payments to most families and aid to small businesses. USA Today reports Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will force a second vote on the stimulus at 9:45 this morning. During last night's vote, he accused Democrats of playing games. Democrats say the bill doesn't go far enough.
Our nation cannot afford the game of chicken. We can't afford the cynical partisanship that one senior House Democrat owned up to just the other day.
We Democrats want to move forward with a bipartisan agreement. Unfortunately, the legislation has not improved enough in the past 3 hours to earn the necessary votes to proceed.
And the timing of that Senate vote we just mentioned is meant to coincide with the opening of the markets. Senator McConnell said he'd hoped Democrats would have a, quote, change of heart. And right now, it's not looking good. Here's a look at your Wall Street futures. The Dow is down 731 points. The Nasdaq is down 214. Also falling overnight, oil prices. The world's benchmark fell about 4% to just under $26 a barrel. We're all seeing this in lower prices at the pump. Because fewer of us are driving or aren't driving as far, demand for oil has been falling, and oil-producing giants Saudi Arabia and Russia have been in a price war for weeks. We're taking a live look from New York City. Right now, there is an executive order in place requiring all non-essential businesses in the state shut down. That order also requires people to stay home. Anyone who violates that order could face a fine. New York has been one of the hardest hit cities in the U.S. by the coronavirus outbreak. Similar orders are in effect right now in California and Illinois.
In just hours, we're expecting new numbers to come in about cases in North Carolina. Right now, the state health's website is reporting 255 cases. The state reported its first case 20 days ago. But counties report their own numbers, so we believe the actual number is slightly higher. So far, there have been no deaths in the state. Unlike some other states across the country, a state representative says North Carolina is still not planning a shelter-in-place order right now. Representative John Soka of Cumberland County tweeted about it yesterday. He said the Department of Public Safety is listening to businesses who believe they qualify to be exempt if one were to be put in place. Now, over the weekend, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster also said he wasn't considering an order. Now, currently, South Carolina is reporting 195 cases and 3 deaths. York and Lancaster counties reported 2 new cases yesterday. Now, in a lot of those cases, we learned that this weekend that they involve younger people in our area.
Yeah, really interesting numbers here. Eyewitness News reporter Gina Esposito is standing by live this morning. Gina, you dug into this and you learned more about exactly where the majority of these cases were in our area.
Yeah, this morning we're in Plaza Midwood, one of the neighborhoods with the most cases. As of noon yesterday, Mecklenburg County now has 8 reported cases of COVID-19. Those numbers update each morning, and I'm looking out for new information. Now let's break down these cases by zip code. Take a look at this map on your screen. 2 areas with the most are highlighted in dark gray. They include Ballantyne's 28277 zip code and 28205 that covers Noda, Plaza Midwood, and East Charlotte. Now, each had 6 or more cases. Now, here are the cases broken down by age. There was 1 person under 20 who got it. The 40 to 59 age group makes up 32% of cases, 60 plus, 17%. The rest are in that 20 to 39 age group.
There's a misconception out there that this is a disease that only affects the elderly and only affects people who have significant medical problems. And that's not what we're seeing in the hospitals around New York. We're seeing younger people.
Again, well, experts say that younger people, more of them getting sick right now. The virus is still significantly more dangerous to older people right now. Mecklenburg County, they will have an update on these number of cases coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. But coming up in 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about how the way businesses, how they're catering to older residents right now, the ones who are most at risk. Back to you.
All right, a lot of good information there this morning, Gina. Thank you. Today, we're also expecting more answers about what's going on with your child's school. The State Board of Education will hold an emergency meeting at 9 a.m. today. Now, on Friday, both Governor Roy Cooper and State Superintendent Mark Johnson warned parents that kids won't be back in school at the end of the month. But aside from returning to the classrooms, there are probably a lot of other questions that you have, like what happens if your senior can't take the ACT or the SAT? Johnson says he's working with the UNC system to make sure those students aren't penalized. Today, the board will likely discuss makeup days and whether they're even necessary. They're also going to be mapping out remote learning plans and how to make sure every child has access to the internet right now. Some help is coming for Cabarrus County students who don't have a computer while schools are shut down. The district will provide Chromebooks to students who need one. Families can go through a drive-through line at their child's school to pick up those computers tomorrow from 1 to 4 p.m. or on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Each Chromebook will be disinfected before it's handed over.
Author J.K. Rowling is encouraging teachers to post videos of themselves reading the Harry Potter books while kids are at home and out of school. Rowling and her publishing agents say that they are relaxing regular copyright permissions and granting an open license for teachers. Educators can now upload videos of them reading the text from the 7 Harry Potter books onto schools' secure networks until the end of the school year. Rowling wished everyone to be well, adding that the Harry Potter at home hashtag. That's very cool. I remember my son being into that when he was that age.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough of that series either. I read the entire series with my mom, loved it.
Very cool, yeah. Well, the White House is now getting help from IBM to access better, faster research on the virus. They're going to be put together a system of supercomputers at universities and national labs, and overnight they started taking research proposals from applicants. A lot of us are choosing to order items online instead of going to the stores as we shelter at home. And that means changes at Amazon. Now, to keep up with the demand, the company changed its overtime policy. Now, it'll pay workers double time instead of time and a half.
Well, this is interesting. The CDC is tracking how well communities like ours are prepared to deal with disasters. Everything from weather-related disasters to disease or toxic spills. I dug into this data overnight, and the agency ranks communities based on vulnerabilities by looking into factors like poverty, access to transportation, and housing. The data comes from the 2016 census, and it shows Mecklenburg County has a moderate to high level of vulnerability. One of the categories where Mecklenburg really struggles is housing in some zip codes. Another weak point, poverty in some areas. Gadsden County has a high level of vulnerability. Cabarrus County has a low to moderate level, and Union County has a low vulnerability. In South Carolina, Lancaster County has a moderate to high vulnerability, and York ranks moderate to low. Meanwhile,